This is Liquid's map pick. The pressure is all on the NA boys to get through to the semi-finals. Astralis have already done it. Can they do it too as they go straight into the pistol round, starting on the T side and only picking up the one smoke?
One smoke maybe to funnel off for a retake, but it's actually more of a stack around the B side. This could just be a straight up call. They do have the kit if they need to go for the retake, but Jax goes peeking out too widely, and he is plucked out. Hunter now dishes damage, but not going to finalize any frags. Finally gets one, but instantly traded. Kenny S, drive-by USP headshot, delivered first class onto Stewie, and does a fair chunk of damage to Elige. It's not going to be able to stop the bomb from getting planted, so there are options for Liquid, regardless of what happens from here on out. But this is where that kit could start to make a move into play. Naf gets peeked from Kenny and goes down without much of a fight, and Twist has rattled off a whole bunch of P250 rounds, but he's running dangerously low in the magazine and on health. G2 successful retake.
And hello, Kenny. 3 kills with the pistol, and they were just drive-by one-taps as well. There was no messing about. Straight to the head, straight to the clicking, and putting out a message as well coming into this second round that G2 are here to fight. Liquid, of course, with the bomb down, will be able to force into this one. They are going to have the AKs. They will have the Galil, a Scout, and a Deagle. How much can they do, though? Because that CT buy, that's not shabby at all.
Not too bad whatsoever. Very much an even spread. The only thing that is very much tipping in G2's favor is the amount of grenades they possess compared to Liquid. It's all centralized on Naf. Oh, slight gap in the smoke. Don't re-peek him, that's madness. Stewie will smash your head off too. Please don't peek again.
That's a shot and a half from Stewie to open things up, but that's what Liquid can do to you, right? We said the AWP has less of a place on this map. Stewie proving us wrong immediately with a Scout headshot to open things up, and that's putting the pressure right back onto G2 as the push starts to come through. A 2-2 split of the bomb sites, and Nexa, he was huge for G2 in map 1. Can he be huge again? They're thinking about the peak, the flashes, the nades will come over the top, and here we go. Nexa, scope trained in on the angle. There's frags to be found, and he'll have the first, he'll have the spray down, 2, 3 quick kills. Now the MP9 comes in with one more, and this is beautifully recovered by G2. Elige left with the 1 on 3, fakes the plant. Kenny peeks wide. The spray down from Elige is good, though. He's still alive and kicking. The AK has that headshot capability, but Jax will just steady the ship. The MP9 will find that second round, and that's a beautifully recovered situation from G2.
And no plant. They don't take the economy forward either, so they're into a really rough position. But Nexa, so much work. You could see that Jax, who is perched up on the sandbags, able to shoot them in the back. If Nexa goes down there without a kill, that round completely collapses. Everything rested on Nexa, and once again, the superb Serbian dishes out the damage, keeps them in the round. It's really been him and Hunter that have been the biggest and ones that I'm most impressed with over the duration of this best of 3.
They've been those 2 players who have just always been there getting multi-kills, and that's the big difference maker, right? Is when you've got that player who doesn't just get the 1 and is immediately traded, he has to stick around, stay alive, get 2, get 3, and really start to build the round. As Elige, again, Amanet getting the better of him as he just gets wiped out. Nexa able to find 1 back onto Nitro at the very least, but G2, there's some early warning signs here, shall we say, from Liquid of the intent with which they come. And Hunter, in a great position towards the scaffolding, is going to need a couple of kills here just to steady things out in this 4-on-4 and make sure Liquid don't get ahead of themselves.
We were saying before that Liquid, this is a map that they are confident on. They got a 70% win rate, 7 wins, 3 losses. G2 have an 83% win rate on Vertigo, so it's not as if there are any slouches when it comes to this map either. We're in a fairly similar position to that earlier game between Astralis and Fatic on Overpass. They're both very good on the map. It's just a case of seeing which has the slight edge, and so far, it's definitely G2. Nexa giving Stewie a haircut and maybe going a bit too deep with the MP9. And Elige musters up a last stand, but it doesn't take very long before G2 move to a 3rd round.
And that's a nice start for them as well. Keeping the rifles up as Liquid now will go for the full buy and near enough full Kriegs. Twist the only player sticking with the trusty AK-47. And this is where questions will be asked. Kenny has gone for the AWP near enough immediately. And this is the big question mark, isn't it? How effective could Kenny be on Vertigo? How many frags can that AWPer find? He's going to take it towards the A bomb site, and Jax is going to take some free control of mid.
You'd certainly hope that allowing this map to come through and to be played. And Kenny would have a very good grasp on how to AWP on this side of the map on ramp. Elige, though, digs in, claims the kill onto Hunter. That's a huge part of G2 that goes with him. Molotov thrown to counteract the push, but it's come so early in the round that it's more a case of trying to allow Kenny to move into that vacant space and try and make it work. He did just look straight at Stewie, but nails him partially through the wall. So Stewie's dropped to 4. They're now going to try and push behind this, opting that Kenny's alone. And Amanek, who is his bodyguard, has taken the bullet for Kenny. And now Kenny needs to do something with this. Flashbangs on point, and Elige with the re-peek. It's sublime. Liquid now have a very real chance of getting themselves into Vertigo.
You said you wanted Elige to show up, and what a way to show up on the server. A triple kill to open things up, leaving just Nexa and Jax remaining. How do they make anything of this round, or is it just the immediate save called by the CT side? Stewie's so low on health, but Kenny just couldn't quite connect, and the two remaining players just happy to sit back, keep those rifles, keep the economy, try and build something for G2. Liquid, they'll have their first round on the board. They'll have it with all 5 players kept alive, and they'll hope that they can start a run on the T side off the back of this.
Well, the early signs on Kenny with the AWP, not necessarily looking like it's going to carve out too many frags. Still very early days, of course. Nexa trying to hold on to his M4. Going to put Stewie down. These are weapons that could trade hands. I mean, to be fair, one of the reasons we discuss how the AWP on Vertigo can be such a tentative prospect is because so many of these angles are close, and it's actually very easy on both sides to just land these flashbangs that completely neutralize those longer range angles. It's not one of those maps where you have these vast areas around middle like Dust 2 or Mirage or Overpass. Most of them are close corners, close-knit angles. And he saw from Kenny there, he really wanted to peek. He desperately wanted to get up close. But at the same time, he knew that side had already dropped. He knew that they could get flanked from the side because of Elige's opening pick. And so him and Amanek were caught in this really awkward position where Amanek tries to body block for him, does successfully. Kenny comes back in. There's a beautifully timed flashbang that lands in his eyes. So if they're going to, basically what I'm getting around to is if they're going to get Kenny on the AWP, they need to be positioning him in spots where he's actually going to have impact. We saw earlier on Vertigo when Astralis and Fnatic played each other, they're actually playing the AWP way more passively at the back room, overlooking A, and it had way more impact, had way more killing ability from there than playing up close.
Yeah, it's a question of not losing that investment for Null, right? $4,750. That's an expensive gun to be bringing into the round. And when Kenny gets shut down like that, only finding a tag onto Stewie, the investment is not justified. So G2, they're not going to be in the best of positions economically. They will be going down onto the half by the rifles, of course, saved from the previous onto Jackson Nexa. There's a deagle for Kenny, not quite the boomstick he's used to, but some decent stopping power nonetheless. And Liquid, they know there's a couple of rifles lurking somewhere on the map, so they're going to play nice and passively into these early engagements and just now start to put a little bit of pressure back towards B.
Some teams, especially on maps like Vertigo, would take these 2 rifles and try and play aggressive, maybe take aggressive middle control. We do see Jax is currently there. Early grenade, though, absolutely ravages Amanek. He's down to 37. 2/3 of his health evaporate before his very eyes. I'm not really expecting too much from G2 in this round.
You'd hope for at least 2 kills or Nexa and Jax save both the rifles, right? Either that M4 and that AK get a kill apiece, or they save both of them. That's the ideal situation for me. Anything beyond that, a little bit of a bonus as Nexa goes up on the boosted angle to try and see something through the smoke. Nothing doing though, as Elige just takes a tick of his own Molotov and the fast play starts to come in towards this bomb site. Kenny gonna find a 1D gone towards Twist to open things up and open G2's account in this round. They do get their opening frag. And it's a question of how much more. Lovely nade onto Nitro. That timing could not have been better as he takes the tags trying to retreat. And how much more can G2 get away with here? There are all 5 players towards this A side of the map. They are waiting. They are desperate for somebody to peek into them. But Liquid know they just have to sit back. Stewie on the most peculiar of angles as Elige takes down Kenny. The wallbang lineup from Naf is good. Amanek actually able to get one back. And Jax on the AK again chiming in onto Stewie. This is expensive now for Liquid. Naf shuts down the flank though, and it is all Jax. The AK-47 retreating away. And arguably they've done better than I wanted there. 3 frags, the AK-47 saved by Jax. That's a well-organized and a well-executed round from G2.
Better than expected, but you better believe G2, a competitive bunch of players, wanted more. As soon as they started getting close into the end of that round, they sensed blood, they sensed weakness, they wanted to go in for that. It was incredibly close, a great attempt. But now they're going to be calling the timeout. They know that they do have the ability to buy. It would leave a couple players fairly low. Jax can drop, Kenny can afford an AWP if he so chooses, but it's more along the lines of Hunter and Amanek that could be an issue. They have to drop down to like FAMASs, maybe even SMGs. It's still fairly early in the game. They wouldn't necessarily have to go all in here, but they're deciding to go for broke. Dropping the M4 to Hunter. Kenny will pick up the AWP. That puts him on glass cannon. And Amanek is going to be able to get an M4, but it's going to be at the cost of utility.
A big call for G2. This feels like it's one of those early rounds that sets the tone for the remainder, right? They go for the full buy. G2, they go for it. Kenny drops down onto the glass cannon, as you said, Vince, and it's not a good look of a buy. Hunter and Jax, the only 2 players with defuse kits. Kenny looking to set the tone early on, but the flashes will just keep him fully blind. Nothing he can do, and perhaps wisely he opts to drop back. Knows that, of course, that without the armor, that utility can do so much damage to him. A couple of HEs and he is done for. And G2 look to re-aggress through other avenues. Jax and Amanek, both aggressive into mid, and Naf just holding the angle for now.
That's why I was expecting one of these players to drop down to a FAMAS or an SMG, because you can see that Amanek's already used all of his nades. They had no incendiaries barring one. Just 2 smokes and flashes remaining. There's going to be a flick from Kenny. He misses out on his chance, but he's able to turn tail and run away and get bolstered up by Hunter, who is also alongside him. Meanwhile, there is a flank coming in. That is going to be Amanek, and Jax making moves. He's been found by Nitro, however, but that is going to give a good call to G2. The downside is that information is going to become less and less valuable, although Amanek being down here does allow them that sanctuary of knowing, okay, they're not going for rotation. We can stack our players and keep them here. We can keep our 3-player strong stack on the A side of the map. Hunter now darting up. Can't deny the bomb plant. They have thinned out Liquid a little bit in the form of Stewie 2K, but now Hunter needs to wait for that smoke to clear before he can peer across the side, which is now vacant from his perspective. They're already in a really awkward spot, and they may even think about pulling the plug on this already. They've got that flanker still in the form of Amanek, but realistically, what can he do? He's just been stalled and stopped and stymied downstairs. Hunter's death is definitely the end of this round for G2. It looked like it was doable though, Wolfie, with that double flank on Amanek and Jax. I thought that was in the realms of possibility for G2.
It felt like it was for a second, but in the 3-on-4 retake, with the lack of utility for G2 as well, it became increasingly awkward, and Kenny going to be put under more pressure here. Liquid don't want to let him live with these rifle with the AWP. He will be able to survive a couple more missed shots, though. Perhaps the nerves starting to creep in for the legendary French AWPer as G2, they're under pressure here. Liquid are really starting to pile it on their T side. They're forcing them into awkward situations, forcing them into retakes, which G2 normally wouldn't take. And as the full buy is still available for Liquid, they kept so much firepower up, just losing 1 man, I think, in the previous round. The 2 saved rifles will form the backbone of this buy. Kenny, just so aggressive. He wants to be that player. You can see it for G2. He knows he has to be the catalyst when they keep buying this AWP.
It just doesn't seem like he's overly confident or comfortable on this map to me. I saw JW using this in Device at the back room, like I mentioned before. It allows you the opportunity to actually spam through the smoke and potentially deny bomb plants. But Kenny had the best spawn to peek through middle. As a result of his peek, it also allows them to now move around and try and get round the back of them. Now, Nitro is to the left of Naf. That's going to catch them off guard. They have 2 separate angles of aggression. Amnek's going to use his AK. They can't quite get their hands on these weapons yet, but Kenny S is pushing around with him. This is now doable. Hunter, CZ connects the headshot onto Elige. The bomb is still yet to be planted as it dropped down on the ramp, and they still have to get out of there. They do have a smoke to give them safe passage back up the ramp side. Don't require it. Beautiful entry, slick from Stewie 2K, but now it's Jax who's perched up on the backside of the site, but he's only got a USP. He's looking at the ground. He's making sure none of those pixels show themselves, and now Twist realizes, and Jax's days are numbered. He had to play passively there. If he has a P250 or a CZ, I think he may have actually took the fight. And with his death, that's probably the round following up. Again, though, here, Wolfie, it's rounds where G2 look like they're dead and buried, and they're making Liquid work for it.
They are making Liquid work for every single inch, and they're not done with this one yet. Kenny and Amanek, they've got a defuse kit on Amanek, and they feel like they can get into this bomb site, slowly creeping their way around. Stewie, yet to check the angle, may well swing now, and it's going to be all about the timing here. Amanek on the AK, Twist has taken down the first. Amanek, how does he swing around to find that refrag? It won't be enough, but as you said, Vince, so expensive again for Liquid. They will have their 4th round, but with just 2 rifles and pistols for the remainder, G2 have taken down 4 of their players. They have made it so expensive, and it gives them some avenues of opportunity to get back into this on the CT side.
The thing is, they have made it more expensive, but then you look at Liquid's overall tally of economy, Nitro's going to have around $4,000 left. It's only Stewie that's really in a sticky situation, whereas G2, if they save those 2 weapons, they would have had a little bit more money to play with, maybe a couple more kits. They've only got the 1 kit, which can easily get lost in translation. And if you look at the economy after this round, assuming G2 lose, they're broke again. So I understand you want to have the confidence to go in and try and claim these rounds and go for the defuse and the clutch, but at the same time, once the timer went down to like 10, 15 seconds, surely that's when you pull the plug and you get the hell out of there.
And keep that AWP on Kenny as well, as he's had to drop down onto the M4. That's going to cause you issues. Nexa, he's been a little quiet. I say that, he's 9-4, but he'll be looking to correct that as he gets a little bit of a spray on there. Amanek and Kenny going to combine to take out Stewie. The Molotov credited with the kill, but the teamwork towards the A bomb site, finding G2 first blood. And how crucial could that be in the context of this round? A lead, desperate to get something back, spraying through the wood, but there will be no connection. As Hunter and Amanek think about re-aggressing through short, they are just going to bail out of that play for now. And G2, they need to get a little bit of a read here because Liquid are starting to queue up towards this B bomb site.
They're making moves. The G2 realize what's about to come up against them. Now Nexa with an AUG early in the half, pulled off a 3K. The first rifle round that both teams threw at each other. Can he go massive one more time? He's going to be called upon. The smoke's coming in. He doesn't have a smoke of his own. He's going to toss that onto the entrance. Now waiting for the rest of his team. He actually decides to keep the smoke because there's one tossed in for the tease. The spray is going to connect on Nafly's face. That's going to drop the bomb out. Nexa can stay alive on the generators. And in the meanwhile, the rest of G2 are starting to make moves round the back. Twists has to watch 2 separate angles by himself because of these casualties. And Amanek and Kenny S are coming in clutch. Ali tries the wide peek, and Kenny's having none of it. At this point, Kenny, honestly, just keep the M4. He's had way more impact with the rifle than the AWP on this map.
Even upgrade himself to a Krieg. He's managed to do that at the death of things as G2 draw level at 4 apiece. And what a round from them. Again, we said they looked vulnerable towards that B bomb site. Nexa was there alone. He gets a headshot through the smoke. That starts to build things up for G2. Kenny S with a quick double to completely lock it down, and it's Liquid calling the timeout here. Kenny, though, he's gone for the AWP again. I'm sure you're not going to be too happy about that one, but he is countering at least. Stewie also has the AWP. And at the very least, G2 are going blow for blow here against Liquid, right? They're not just getting blown out of the water. They're not allowing Liquid to build up too many rounds consistently.
I mean, I'm kind of half joking with the whole rifle/AWP thing, and it shows that he's got confidence. But it hasn't worked out for him. I'm trying to remember, has he got a single kill with the AWP? I feel like they've all been off the back of pistols, or they've all been off the back of rifles. If he has, it hasn't been many. But if he has that confidence, if he has that ability to still believe in his ability to pull out the AWP and to get kills and to have impact, we've already seen doesn't mind playing aggressively, dropping down on the B side, trying to cull those Ts that are pushing in, then all power to him.
Can confirm he's got exactly one AWP kill.
One AWP kill, and we're moving into round 9, and he's had an AWP a few times. So for Kenny S, that is definitely under par. That's not performing as the way he'd like to see.
Yeah, and it's not justifying the repeated investment either, is it? It's not justifying spending so much money so consistently when, as soon as he has an M4 in his hands, he gets a double kill. He gets a triple if you count the Molotov in that round. And Liquid, they'll be ruining missed opportunities as they try and get aggressive towards mid. It's an interesting setup again from G2. 3 players towards this A-bomb site, fairly standard. And Liquid happy to sit back on the opening engagements. Jax, that is a nasty angle as Kenny again going for the peak, but it's not going to work out. Stewie seems to have his name, number, and full postal address out towards this A bomb site as he takes the opening pick yet again. And as you said, Vince, that's so much money thrown away immediately. It's not even recovered by the CT side. They're a man down now. And Stewie's looking to take advantage as he slowly pushes up this A ramp. It's going to be the player behind the sandbags, Amanek, the next one called into question. They have Molotovs if they want to flush him out. This crossfire from Amanek and Hunter could be beautiful. The Molotov will come in, though, and Amanek with a huge call to make. Smoke goes into the molly. That gives away his position. Hunter needs to back his teammate up now as the push starts to come in. Amanek trying to get something done. Finds the first. Immediate trade by Stewie. And Hunter looks to pounce, but he won't manage anything. A Liege on the Krieg takes him out. And as Nexa and Jax desperately rotate into this bomb site, it's into a 4-on-2. Liquid with 20 seconds left on the clock. Maybe there's a world where G2 deny this bomb, but Smoke's all over the place. And Naf will find Jax through them. It's all onto Nexa. He's been huge for G2. He's got 2, but that will be all he gets. Stewie picks him out of the sky with the AWP. For a moment there, you believed. But Liquid once again will have the lead at 5-4. And the economy is starting to look a little bit fragile for G2.
It is getting into that position where we're getting to rough waters here. It's getting a bit murky. Kenny has exactly enough for an AWP, but he's actually going to get dropped one instead. What's his spawn looking like? Is he going to go for another aggressive peek? It doesn't look like it. He had a fairly average spawn for the A side of the map. But again, he keeps going for these aggressive plays. It's not working. It might be time to just play more passively, allow Liquid to use their utility to push on the side. It shows respect as well from G2, though, that they know that Liquid in these clutch kind of nitty-gritty claustrophobic situations are just so powerful, so prevalent. Kenny S going to be peeking momentarily. Oh, he doesn't realize there's a player to his left-hand side. The sandbags is blocking him, and the flashbang's there. Collat down ramp. He absolutely ravages down Liquid. The timing favors him. And shush my mouth. It turns out he is going to have impact after all. That could be the round-defining play.
Well, that's one way to get yourself feeling the AWP again, Kenny. A quick collateral to take out 2 of the players for Team Liquid, and Stewie and Twist left wondering what could have been. A 4-on-2, very much within their reach, but they're looking to group up and put the pressure on Nexa again. This B bomb site, G2 have repetitively trusted him just to hold this all by himself. He's been so influential for them back towards the backside of that site. And as Twist and Stewie group up, he's going to have to do it again. He's limited, in fact, 0 utility. So nothing to really stall this. It's going to have to be the shots hit by Nexa, hiding towards the back of site. The Molotov on Twist as well could flush him out if the utility is well used by Liquid. There is still a world where they get the bomb plant. 20 seconds left on the clock. Stewie starting to creep his way in, thinking about the peak, thinking about where G2 may lie in wait. Nexa, though, still not Molotoved off, and the nade's not going to come through. He's still alive and kicking. Stewie trained in on his angle. When does this peak come in? 7 seconds left. Stewie, he's got to get the bomb down. The timing's useless. Nexa and Hunter a frag apiece, and G2, they will draw level at 5-all. They'll even save the double AWP setup as Kenny. Oh, that's a collat and a half.
Partially down to lock on the timing, but he put the bullet where it counted. He pulverized the push. I think if G2 had a better economy, they'd have actually waited that one out until after time and then just mowed down Liquid. You could have seen the impact it had on their finances. They're actually going to go for a full-on buy anyway. They know that G2's economy is not fantastic, and we're going for that aggressive peak again from Kenny. This time he had a much better spawn to support it. Jax, though, with the spray on the M4, battening down middle. Still full HP. He has Hunter coming to help him out. There's reinforcements arriving. The cavalry is here, and they are stampeding over Liquid, who had no hope, no chance. Stewie 2K in the meanwhile, though, is trying a flank on B. He doesn't have the bomb. That's dropped in middle, and it looks as though G2 will take the lead once again.
P250, all Stewie has to work with, and $50 to his name. That force buy not working out whatsoever. Liquid yet to find a frag, and quite frankly, if they get anything, it would be a miracle. Hunter with the Krieg headshot will give G2 the lead at 6-5, and we'll put Liquid in a very awkward situation economically. And there we really see what Hunter's talking about with Jax, right? Taking that role behind the sandbags in mid is a horrible position to play on a map like Vertigo. There's so much utility that can just ruin your chances. But taking one for the team, finding a couple of frags when it counts, and that allows the likes of Kenny and Hunter to do those aggressive plays, to play the areas of map where they're most comfortable. And we're seeing it paying off at the moment as G2, they take the lead on the CT side against Liquid, and Kenny, again, is trying to build some confidence. This time he's up against almost entirely Glocks. And Amanek with the secondary AWP is trying to go for the exact same deep peek, but nobody peeking out from Liquid just yet.
And that Molotov will keep them at bay a little while longer. They can't afford to push through that. They get burnt down to a crisp. Amanek, though, keeping his scope trained into that position. Now, Liquid are watching their back in case G2 go for a speculative flank, a fact-finding mission. Things dying down. They are also waiting at this position as well, on this point, to try and draw out as many grenades from G2 as possible. Every little grenade is going to cost that little bit more. See if you can maybe get $1,000, $2,000 out of this. There's a flashbang to throw in first. Hunter playing a different angle on the ramp, watching from the side area, but he is going to be left alone. So as long as they keep walking up here, Hunter could just get overwhelmed, but he's now shown his hand. He's going to get pushed from multiple angles. He's going to push and take the fight. Elige with a Glock. That's going to be an SG that trades hands. It's now for Nafly to try and dish out the damage and see if maybe they can just get themselves back into this. They're going to be mainly pushing on the side. Smoke goes out. Now will Plume, but Nexa spins across. Through the smoke, he finds his man, as Stewie. Naf needs to come up so huge if Liquid want any hope at winning this round. The bomb's been denied, courtesy of a HE, and Naf's gone down. It all falls to Nitro. 12 seconds to get out of there, and Kenny S shuts him down from behind. G2 open up a 2-round lead.
It's unfortunate for Liquid there that that nade comes in and just denies the bomb as well, because if they get the bomb down and get a frag out of that, that's a huge round. Considering $300 spent, they bleed the utility, they get a Krieg, maybe they get an extra $800 for the bomb, and then that round really starts to look good, but it can't quite come through, and it will put Liquid in a slightly worse position coming into this buy. Nitro, only a couple of nades. Stewie, one smoke, a smoke and a flashbang for Twist. And Kenny, he wants to get aggressive again. The pressure actually starting to come in through Twist, and the flashbang is going to force Kenny back off of this angle, as again, Liquid not looking for the fast pay. Passive initially, just waiting for G2 to make the mistake.
At some point, though, they may need to switch up their aggression, because this is getting a little bit telegraphed now. For the CT side, they realize they don't have to throw that many grenades in. Look at the vast amount of nades they still have. Sure, Hunter has already tossed his out, but everybody else is looking healthy on that front. It's where Liquid need to switch it up, force out these nades early so they can try and capitalize on them in late game. And because they're so slow, Jax is going to be pushing on the back, and Twists with his knife out, looking to the heavens. And that's where he's going to end up come the end of this round. Hunter now tagged out significantly, still holds on with his SG, doing damage through the wooden panels. Elige is the next one to feel it. And Liquid, try as they may, are just being swiped left, right, and center. They can't seemingly get anything under their way. G2 shifting into another gear, but Nitro is going to try his best to get this under wraps, but everybody else falls down around him. Nitro 1-on-4, AK-47, no utility, and a smoke in his eyes. He's living on borrowed time, and Amanek's going to cash in.
G2, another perfectly orchestrated round, and double AWPs are not something you normally see on Vertigo. They're not something that normally works, but somehow G2 just keep on finding rounds with them. Kenny and Amanek combining beautifully in that round as well to find multiple frags. And G2 in a perfect position here. Liquid, again, will be down to the half buy. Again, will be back on the pistols. A little bit of utility to back them up. But if G2 see this round off, they're on 9 on the CT side. They are really starting to build that platform. Amanek, again, aggressive on the early peak, falling back after the missed shot, and putting some more pressure back on Hunter towards short.
Also, Amanek going aggressive like this allows Kenny to start to play a little bit more passively and have impact when it comes to the later stages of the round. You can see there, he's playing more of a middle anchor role now. So that's alleviating some pressure on their star player, allowing him to flourish later. He doesn't have to take those fairly risky peaks early on. Now, Hunter playing from side, he's played down on the ramp. Now he's been a little bit more passive. Liquid going earlier on ramp, but I don't see this one necessarily working for them, especially if they don't get rid of Hunter. He doesn't even have to peek. He just has to stay in position. As long as they have side covered, they can funnel the rest of their efforts on the A side, peering down ramp, and it's going to be 3 kills to his name. It's a half buy. Can't get too carried away, but maybe Stewie can put this back in the realms of possibility with Elise, who comes out with 2. 1 Deeks onto Amanek and Hunter. 50 seconds, SG at his disposal. And he has control of the bomb. As far as clutches go, Wolfie, this is looking good.
There is a world where Elige wins this. He's starting to push his way up the A ramp. Nexa and Kenny, 2 of the high flyers of this G2 roster, still standing firm. Can they hold on? 30 seconds left. Elige looking to clear all the angles. He'll find the headshot as well. Nexa goes down, and it's the stars of the show. Kenny trying to rotate in. He knows this round is crucial. They cannot be losing to these half buys, but he misses the shot. And Elige, the one-man army, 4 kills in the round. Liquid, they bail themselves out yet again, and we are on track for such a close half of Counter-Strike once more.
It was a half by Wolfie. It was Deagles. It was CZs. How, G2? How are you letting that one slip away? They're on track for a 10-5 half. They're on track to have this done at 2-0 potentially, but now as it stands, it could be the exact same scoreline as what we saw in Dust 2 at an 8-7. Liquid gonna just make sure they calm things down. They're all on the same page and they have some kind of master plan to crack out here. As it's still not going to be a formality, G2 will have a solid purchase across the board.
And this is the concern for G2, right? If you're allowing Liquid to get back into rounds like that, if you're allowing Elige to find 4Ks like that, can you hold on? Can you be consistent enough to be beating these top teams? And this is why I said I'm not ready to call them the best French team in the world just yet. They have to get that out of their game. They can't let those plays sneak in, as they do have the full buy. The double AWPs are still available on Kenny and Amanek. And G2 are going to be looking up to make up for lost time here, looking to find that 9-6 half thereafter. Amanek again aggressive on the early peak, but Liquid this time, with 3 players out towards the B stairs, are wasting no time at all.
They're turning up the pace, as I said earlier. They'd maybe need to do so to get G2 out of their comfort zone, but they have slowed down. It was looking like a rush. It's now gone more into a rapid walk. Elige has been tagged into 52. Hunter, a different angle, mixing it up, not getting predictable. Side is one of those positions you can get naded time and time again. Now, he knows that is a paper-thin wall, so he is treading lightly. He is treading on eggshells, hoping they don't crack beneath him, hoping that G2 don't crack. After winning 4 rounds in a row, Liquid resurgent after a ridiculous clutch from Elige. We come to expect it from the man. Hunter now going back in again, nearly spraying through the smoke onto Stewie 2K, who once again will provide some crimes on that side of the map. Kenny S has been wrecked down though to 36. He has to play very cautiously.
He wants this peak as well. He wants to find the refrag onto Stewie. The pressure from the other side. A huge flick from Kenny. Somehow he finds Twist, and Amanek denies the bomb as well. 30 seconds left, and the remaining players struggling for health on the Liquid side of things. A 3-on-2 for G2. That is such a spectacular Kenny play, but Stewie looks to level the playing field. A quick headshot onto Nexa, and now it's Jax and Amanek, the AWP and the M4, to try and get back into this bomb site. There's no smoke. Jax, though, that doesn't matter. Quick headshot, Stewie on the Krieg with it all to do. The 1-on-2 to find the 8-7 half. He's looking to play the time. Jax sticking the defuse. Stewie not peeking. This is done. G2 have a 9th round.
He had to hope for the best. He had low HP. He knows if he goes up and peaks, there's going to be 2 players staring him down. He had absolutely no hope. So he's hoping for the fake. He was hoping to draw someone out into the open. It didn't happen. 9-6. You've got to say that G2, I wouldn't necessarily held it against them if they'd have choked that last round after allowing Elige to come in. They could have been on full tilt still, so it's really impressive. They still get the job done, have a 9-6 lead going through to the second half.
It's huge, and I'm just going to point out Kenny has got a 180. That just feels like Kenny is starting to become Kenny again in my mind. He's starting to hit his shots. He's starting to find his consistency as an AWPer. And surprisingly, it's the double AWP setup that's allowing him to do it. It's taking the pressure off him. Amanek goes for the aggressive peak. Kenny plays how he wants to play. And it's worked out beautifully. 9-6 at the half. G2, they only need 7 more rounds.
Only 7 more rounds to book their spot in the semi-finals here of the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. We'll see if they can do it. But first, we'll jump into a break.
call my bluff for the last time. This ain't a song, it's a battle cry. No life, I see the clue between the strobe lights. I'm haunted, black face, hey, follow me around, okay, black face, hey, follow me around, okay, used to want it bad, used to want it bad, but I can't taste it, I can't help you now, okay, follow me around, okay, black face, hey, follow me around, okay, follow me around, okay, black face, hey, follow me around, okay,
The Intel Extreme Masters Katowice is heating up nicely to a nice simmer with G2 9-6 in the lead. Second map, they did win the first, which was Dust 2, and now they are 7 rounds shy of booking their spot in the semi-finals. Stewie having appeared down in ramp, one of the few players right now at the pro level to use the P2000, and maybe that is why. He hasn't been able to connect any dots, but Hunter, Glock in hand, just rushes straight up the ramp. Kenny's also landed a goosh, finishes off onto Naf, and now this should be the round going under the way of G2. Kenny with another one, and Twist puts at the back of the site, tagged down to 25. He does retain a kit and a smoke to his name, but there's 3 players for him to find and frag, and he still has to come out onto the site itself. It is looking pretty grim if you are a Liquid fan right about now. Add to the Knicks that he's not necessarily had the greatest game, down to 48 ADR, still trying to make a move, checking all these angles. He needs to watch out for side, sandbags, everywhere else right now that he's been able to have a quick peek across, and we kind of expected it. Let's be honest, Twist really didn't have any hope. To even survive for that long was quite impressive.
And G2 take the T-sided pistol. That's the perfect start. They're going to put the pressure on Liquid. The force buy will come in from the CT side, and the stat that I found at the halftime break is that G2 actually wins 60% of their rounds on Vertigo on the T side. So to be going into the half 9-6 up, they're going to be feeling incredibly confident. And having taken that pistol, they go for 3 MAC-10s, a couple of rifles on Hunter and Kenny, just in case any mistakes are made, but largely looking to farm themselves as much cash as possible and just get through this round. Don't give Liquid room to breathe. Hunter with a lovely shot to open things up, taking out Stewie on the spray down. That's the scout gone. And we all know what Elige can do with the Deagle in his hands, but he's going to need something very, very special here.
Right, he's already pulled off a couple of very special plays out of his bag of tricks, but he's going to have to dig deep one more time. You have to feel he did mount a bit of a resurgence towards the end of the first half with his ridiculous play. Now on side with his Deagle. He will be tested momentarily. It's going to be Hunter, and he comes out second best. Worse for wear. SG going to trade hands now. Kenny's going to try and deny this. Plenty of damage distributed, but jumps in, and Elige takes his head off his shoulders. Such a sick passage of play, and G2 now have to lumber their way a player behind.
Not like this, G2. Not like this. They've given Elige the Krieg. He's going to drop it onto Naf, and of course, because this is the force buy for the CT side, they've got full armor behind this. They've got smokes to stall the play. And G2 looking like they're under a little bit of pressure here. 1 AK and 2 MAC-10s, all that remain for the French side as they try and make the play up towards the A-bomb site. They have the utility for the execute. If they can get into the afterplant situation, there's a world where they can pull this one back. But Naf on the Krieg, looking to cause as much havoc as possible as Amanek is just diving onto the bomb site, trying to open the way for Nexa with the bomb on his back to get across, taking damage as Naf goes down to 46, and Nexa, he knows he's got to get onto the site, but Nitro with the CZ is making life so difficult. Amanek up on top of the boxes, finds one, immediate trade from Naf as he switches out to the Deagle, 2 on 3. And Nexa, he's been huge for G2 so far. He needs another huge play. Sets himself up on the off angle as he allows Jax to rotate back around, but Naf on that Krieg could still be so difficult to deal with. Nexa hasn't been cleared out yet, but the spray's missed. He finally finds the first headshot, traded immediately, and it's all onto Jax, the double spray down with the MAC-10 in the smoke. G2, it should never have been that close, but they find the victory nonetheless. They find round number 11, and they deal with the CT force buy.
They deal with a force buy at the cost of 5 weapons, and he only kept a MAC-10 going through. So they're going to have to replenish a lot of these rifles. Actually, they only go for 1 for Kenny, so everyone gets the MAC-10. Now, Liquid, there is a feasible decision that could have came in for a force buy, but they decide against it, knowing that they're 11-6 behind. Forcing and losing could be the end of this best of 3. Hefty nade damage early doors into the round. We'll see Stewie, Naf, and Twist all feeling the effects of war. And it's Amanek again with the MAC-10, getting kills at T-Spawn, funneling away the flank. Nitro, in the meanwhile, last man standing. G2 hotly anticipating that 12-6 lead.
That's much better from G2. They dealt with that far easier than the previous Hunter. Still in a little bit of trouble, but he will be able to clean things up. Nitro, unfortunately, looking the wrong way for Liquid, and G2 now, they're just 4 rounds away. Liquid will go for the buy. Of course, it will be 5 rifles for the CT side. And there's very little room for error now for the NA roster. If they want to book that early place in the semi-final, it has to start now. Nexa and Kenny leading the way. Hunter not far behind, and you can see the difference in performance there, right? A Liege, 18 kills. Nobody else even on double digits yet for Liquid. Someone's got to step up. Someone's got to make a play.
They have the weaponry to supplement it. Amanek taking that grenade. This is the bonus round for G2, though. They're going to keep their 3 MAC-10s alive and kicking into this. So if they do somehow carve out a path, it's going to be that much more detrimental and brutal. They also realize Liquid's economy is not great, so the likelihood is they've dropped down and not bothered to go with head armor. That's the case for all 5 players. That MAC-10 is absolutely lethal if you aim for the head. Now, for the meanwhile, is going to find out firsthand just how lethal as a bullet goes between his eyes. Elise now coming into position, but there's a lot of angles for him to watch out for. How does he stay alive? How in the hell does he survive to tell the tale? Nexa and Jax, both tagged, both feeling the effects, but will get the bomb planted. And in this post-plant, it does read 2v2. They're going to be trading now to 2 rifles. The Stewie on the flank with double headshots is going to get Liquid back into this game with a 7th round.
They needed that, Liquid. They couldn't let the bonus round go the way of G2, and they just about hold on. It takes a Stewie 2K at the end to finish the job, but he makes it happen with 2 quick headshots to finish the round. And again, G2, they do good work with the MAC-10s. They find multiple frags. They kept the economy on the CT side honest, and because it's the bonus round, they're going to be buying fully. Kenny goes for the AWP. Krieg onto Hunter. AKs for Nexa and Jax. Amanek with $8,000 could buy basically anything, but apparently fancies himself another MAC-10, and who can blame him after the round he had in the previous? Nitro and Stewie still without head armor, still vulnerable to it, and it's going to be Twist dropping down onto the FAMAS, so sacrifices for Liquid as G2 look to make him pay.
I mean, not only has the MAC-10 seen a lot more play lately, it's been really rising to the top, but in maps like Vertigo, when you're going to be up close, when there's going to be smokes that you can explode out of, why not a MAC-10? It's an incredibly mobile weapon that you can spray while being in full flight and still hit headshots. So we'll have to see if this comes good for them. If not, they can always afford to drop it up next round. Twist, though, is in such a huge world of hurt at the back of generators. He was caught by flashes, he was all alone, and G2 just mix up the pace. This is the power that having a MAC-10 affords you. You can't just go for these ruthless, relentless pushes and potentially catch Liquid with their nades out or just not in position.
They just caught them completely unawares. It was such a fast play. Twist spotted out a couple of players, but he clearly wasn't expecting the full barrel in. Nitro going to be looking for some exit frags, but it's a 1-for-1 trade, and arguably at this point, Liquid would be better off with the 2 rifles, the 2 M4s as Stewie, the last bastion of Liquid CT defense, trying to stay alive, nothing doing. Amanek will remove it, even grabbing himself a Krieg at the end. So G2, they have 13, they keep 3 players alive, and once again, they force Liquid to make some major economic decisions. It looks like the half-buy will be called as Naf and Stewie pick up Deagles. But is this G2 becoming the giant killers?
I think it's a fair call for that to be the case. They're going to also call another timeout. We've seen this over the duration of the tournament. They call them while they're ahead. So many teams will only call timeouts when they're feeling it, when they're feeling the pressure, when they need to mix things up. G2 just call it to calm down, to make sure that they have everyone on the same page, to make sure they know exactly what's going to be coming up next and in which order. Additionally, Liquid now, they're forced to sweat it out again. You're 13-7 behind. You're already a map down on G2's choice. You come through onto Vertigo, you've got a very good win percentage, but you find yourself on pistols at this stage in the match. This is the nightmare coming to reality.
This is where your options really start to thin out as well of your Liquid. Basically, the only thing to do now is to hope that Stewie, Elige, Naf, Twist, and Nitro can find headshots with those pistols. That is all the hope they have in this round of smoke and 2 flashbangs perhaps to try and delay the push. As G2 will go fast towards the A ramp. A little bit of CT pressure coming in towards mid, but no real damage done as Naf just takes a couple of tags down to 72. And G2, they set themselves in their default positions.
Not going for anything too audacious, not going for any stacks. They still have full confidence in their individual ability, which I can respect, but it hasn't really got them too many rounds in this best of 3, and certainly hasn't got them into a position where you fancy them to win a map. I just don't see them coming back into this. I'd love to be proven wrong. They're going to go for a boost that we haven't seen yet in this matchup. Elige can peer down onto ramp and also side. It is an angle that many teams will check, but maybe this one time is going to catch them off guard. Katowice has been completely dispatched by Elige's Deagle. That's all well and good, but can they build off this? Can they start to connect the dots Liquid? Can they feasibly win this round, bolster their economy, take those guns away from G2 and start to run with it? Perhaps not. Amanek is going to suppress Nitro and force Elige back onto side. This is leaving the rest of A a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit more parent, and Elige decides that the best course of action is to go aggressive. Stewie tanks the bullet with his face through the smoke. Nothing he could really do about that. And a post plant falls upon us in a 2v4, and it's looking like more of the same.
Nice tag conversion, but the frag immediately responded to. Nexa with a quick headshot onto Naf, leaving just Twist. Nothing he can do. Nexa with the wallbang headshot to finish the job, and 14-7 the score. That frag from Jax, where he's fully blinded through a smoke, just summarizes for me Liquid's luck at the moment. Everything is going wrong, right? They're finding occasional frags. Elige got a really nice boost off, but every other frag goes the way of G2. At 14-7, Liquid hit the big green panic button on Stewie and Naf. They go for the double AWP setup. The utility very limited again for the CT side, but perhaps they're hoping they can get some early picks. Kenny is going to go for the contest in towards the A ramp. No pressure really been applied so far from Liquid, but Stewie, he wants to go for this. He's thinking about it behind the railing as Nexa takes down Naf. Stewie immediately trades onto Hunter, and it's Twist to be put under pressure. Nexa with another huge frag for G2. That's 2 frags on the B bomb site. They know it's got to be open. Nexa just flying on in. Nobody there to protect it. Stewie manages to get around just about in time. Cuts Nexa off on the cross. And a 3-on-3 as Stewie looks to rotate in. Kenny gets caught with a nade out as Stewie, the one-man army on the AWP, is holding B firm.
I'm just scratching my head wondering why G2 didn't throw any grenades, though. Yeah, you got B site, but just smoke off the cross. Don't give Liquid a chance to get back into this round. As it stands, Stewie with 3 is on for the ace, and Liquid have a chance. They've got a lifeline that should never have been theirs. G2 have got to be way more ruthless in these advantages. Amanek now, though, having a quick peek behind. This round is not done just yet. Still 3/4 of a minute to go, and Amanek is starting to feel his way towards the CT side. Gonna try and wrap around the back of A. Nitro is there, waiting. Jaxna, meanwhile, coming nose-to-nose with Elige. He may not know it, though. The timing just about saving Jax's life. Does he actually re-peek this? That's an audacious play to go for. Amanek now, though, does claim onto Nitro, but his position is now compromised. And Stewie round the back is going to be able to nail him, leaving 18 seconds for Jax to 1v2 clutch. Stewie still, by the way, on for the ace. Is Elige going to take that away from him? Perhaps not, as he's missed his first couple of bullets. This could afford Jax the opportunity to plant. He's going to be rushed in from Elige, and the bomb plant will be denied. So thanks in part to Stewie, or actually mainly to Stewie, Liquid do get an 8th round, and they do keep G2 at arm's reach.
Not like this, G2, not like this. 2 entry frags from Nexa on the B bomb site, and they let it fall apart. They give Stewie so many ins, so many opportunities to get into that round as G2. You said they take the timeouts when they're ahead to set themselves, and now they're probably taking it to get rid of the tilt of the previous, because there were so many mistakes there from G2 that they just need to iron out. 2 more rounds is all that stands between them and the semi-finals and the Spodek Arena. And the buy still isn't good for Liquid. They've still got NAF on the MP9. There's still a world where G2 can get their map and their series point right here.
I mean, the reason I brought up Smoke the Cross on generators from CT Spawn is I was looking at all three players. They all had a Molotov, they all had a smoke, and they had plenty of flashbangs. So why is nobody utilizing even a flash? You can just throw the flash as you're running in. Because even though they did get 2 picks on B, you can't just assume there's no one else on the B side. Like, that's a crazy play to make sure. It's more than likely the probability is favoring you. But again, we've already discussed this. Vertigo is one of those maps that has one of the fastest rotation periods in the map pool. You can't take these plays for granted, and they just got punished in the worst possible way.
They seem to have thought that this B bomb site might be a little bit vulnerable for Liquid. Twist with the jump peak will spot a couple of heads. And G2, again, they've done this before. Fast into the B bomb site. Next, they're trying to clear the angle. Twist able to get one before he's traded at the very least. And Liquid, they look to swarm in. Jax by the first generators. No idea how close they are. Elige, another headshot. Hunter only able to get one before Naf finds him. Stewie with another, and Amanek going to be taken out. The MP9 up close and personal gets Naf 2 kills. And the fast play from G2 Esports does not work out at all. They are now looking at the eco. They are now opening the door for Liquid to get back into this matchup.
I can respect the idea to go for the rush. It does keep Liquid now on their tiptoes going forward. However, was that the right moment to pull out the play? Because they don't really have a buy to go behind this. It's just going to be pistols, just the smoke and a flashbang. And Kenny S going in. He's the first to fall to the hands of Elige, who's done significant damage to Jax. Just going to bank the grenade off the wall to make sure they can't quickly push onto Sandbags. Stewie 2K, that one tap is sublime. And he's going to get another one onto Hunter. It's a rapid round. G2 just going to detox and go back into the rifles now. They can't afford an AWP. So it's going to be full rifles.
This is starting to look worrying. It's starting to feel like Liquid are getting themselves back into this one. G2 will know they only need 2 more rounds. They only need 2 more big plays. But with every round that goes by, Liquid get one closer. They help themselves to an AK on Nitro, a Krieg on Elige. And they start to believe a little bit more that they can force this to Mirage, force it to the 3rd map. Fast play from Stewie. The flash is working out for both sides, but Hunter, he's vulnerable. The Molotov forces Stewie wide, and Hunter will draw first blood. Jax taking damage, though, and Twist able to find the frag onto Kenny, equalizing things at 4 apiece. Nothing to tell from the early trades. The significant health advantage the way of Liquid, though. Jax being brought down so low. What did G2 do? They got the opening 1v1. They found the pick. They lost the trade. And now they start to wonder about the B-bomb site yet again.
And Stewie just got CSGO'd so hard there. There's a Molotov down, he throws a smoke onto it, thinking it's extinguished, then starts burning alive. Has to go out into the open and just gets killed. That's so unlucky for Liquid. Maybe they can still stabilize though, or perhaps not. Hunter is going to pulverize Naf. Momentarily stuns Liquid. 3 players to the good still, but very little utility. An incendiary and 2 flashbangs. It's not like G2 are swimming in nades themselves, though. Molly and Flash on the belt of Nexa. They haven't fully decided which bomb they're going to press behind, but it would appear that it's going to be an A hit come the end of the round.
This frag could be crucial. Hunter needs to hit the shot, and he will do so. That's Elige down. That's the bomb site open. They don't have any smokes for the plant here, so they're going to have to frag it out. Nitro up towards heaven, and this is all on the timing. The Molotov goes deep. That's on the plant spot. That's going to buy a little more time. 20 seconds left on the clock. They're queuing up. Amanek with the team kill, but Twist goes down, and it will be the round. It will be map and series point for G2. They've got 5 opportunities to close this one out as Liquid, they buy everything they possibly can.
5 chances, 5 crack at it for G2 and Liquid. I mean, this is it. It's do or die time. Their tournament life isn't on the line. They will have other opportunities, but they'll be from the quarterfinals as opposed to the semis. Astralis have already booked their position. Is this the beginning of the end of the best of 3? Elige is perched up Molotov underneath him's gonna force him back. G2 time and time again have taken this ramp control, really established pressure, really given Liquid things to think about. There's a HE, Nexa doubles up. This could be it. This could be everything now for G2. Naf and Twist trying to move in position, and Naf is the next to fall, leaving Twist in a 1-on-5. He hasn't lost any health early on in that encounter, and does get a second frag, but there's Jax with the AK-47. G2 booked their spot in the semis, joined by Astralis, and Liquid gonna have to play that extra game in the corner.